Hey folks, in today's Conundrum we will cover the case of Jurijus Kadamovas and Iouri Gherman Mikhel, Soviet-born American serial killers, who unleashed terror in the United States after immigrating from Lithuania and Russia. Their brutal spree encompassed 5 kidnappings and murders, landing them on federal death row. For 4 months in late 2001, they orchestrated a chilling series of abductions, demanding exorbitant ransoms. Shockingly, even when payments were made, the victims met a merciless end. Weighted and discarded in New Malone's Lake near Yosemite National Park, their bodies were disposed of callously. Court documents reveal the kidnappers sought over $5.5 million, managing to extort more than $1 million from the victims' families. The murderers were sentenced to death, while their 4 accomplices received lengthy prison terms, ensuring justice for all affected. Welcome back to Conundrum, where we delve into the minds and history of serial killers. If you like this type of content, please subscribe, and put the notifications bell on so you don't miss any of my future uploads. Thank you for being here. Jurijus Kadamovas, born in Vilnius, Lithuania on October 22, 1966, and Iouri Gherman Mikhel, born in Leningrad, USSR on April 9, 1965, were foreign nationals who found their way to the United States. They settled in Los Angeles, California, where they owned houses in San Fernando Valley. Kadamovas resided in Sherman Oaks, while Mikhel called Encino home. In addition to their personal lives, the two men ventured into business together. They co-owned a fish aquarium store named Designed Water World, situated on Ventura Boulevard in Los Angeles. This joint business venture provided them with a legitimate front, masking the dark and sinister activities that lay hidden beneath the surface. In October 2001, Jurijus Kadamovas and Iouri Gherman Mikhel executed a chilling plan to abduct Meyer Muscatel, a local real estate developer. Posing as a potential buyer, Mikhel enticed Muscatel to his Encino residence, where Kadamovas and an accomplice lay in wait. Muscatel was subjected to a brutal assault, being bound, handcuffed, and pistol-whipped. His wallet and credit cards were seized, and he was interrogated about his finances. Despite their attempts to access his bank account, it was frozen. Injected with diphenhydramine, Muscatel was immobilized and asphyxiated by Mikhel placing a plastic bag over his head. Kadamovas transported the lifeless body in his van to New Malone's Lake, where it was heartlessly discarded off Parrott's Ferry Bridge into the reservoir. Kadamovas and Mikhel targeted Rita Pekler next, the financial advisor of wealthy businessman George Safiev. Posing as a potential real estate client, Kadamovas lured Pekler to his Sherman Oaks home. Mikhel, armed with weapons, joined 2 other accomplices. After restraining her, they forced Pekler to contact Safiev, who declined to meet. Pekler was injected and strangled to death. Her lifeless body met the same fate as their previous victim, being discarded off the Parrott's Ferry Bridge into the reservoir. Alexander Umansky, a 35-year-old automobile shop owner, became the 3rd victim of Jurijus Kadamovas and Iouri Gherman Mikhel. Posing as a customer needing audio equipment installed in cars, Mikhel lured Umansky to Kadamovas' home. Once there, Umansky was ambushed and restrained in a chair, stripped of his belongings, and interrogated about his finances. Held captive for 3 days, Umansky was forced to call his brother for ransom money, while the kidnappers sent a demand for nearly $235,000 to the Umansky family. With the FBI's advice, a partial payment was made, followed by threats and the family paying the remaining amount. After receiving the ransom, Kadamovas and Mikhel decided to end Umansky's life. Using duct tape and a bag, they suffocated him, then tied weights to his body and disposed of it in New Malone's Lake. In a chilling turn of events, Jurijus Kadamovas and Iouri Gherman Mikhel set their sights once again on George Safiev, who had returned to Los Angeles. They devised a plan involving Safiev's business partner, Nick Karabadze. Karabadze was lured to a private club, unaware that it was actually the duo's aquarium store. Upon his arrival, Mikhel swiftly restrained him to a chair. Karabadze was coerced into calling Safiev and convincing him to come to the store. Safiev fell into their trap, becoming their captive as well. Both hostages were transported to Kadamovas' house, where Safiev was forced to plead with another business partner for a hefty transfer of $940,000 to a foreign account. For 4 agonizing days, Karabadze and Safiev were imprisoned together. During their captivity, Kadamovas recorded Safiev's voice, intending to leverage the recordings for future extortion. Once the transfer was confirmed, Mikhel made the chilling decision to end the lives of the 2 men. They were made to consume vodka before being taken to a reservoir in separate cars. At the reservoir, Karabadze met his demise as Mikhel suffocated him with a plastic bag and tightened a plastic tie around his throat. Weighted down, his lifeless body was cast off a bridge into the reservoir. The same fate awaited Safiev. During the investigation into the horrifying crimes committed by Jurijus Kadamovas and Iouri Gherman Mikhel, a breakthrough occurred when fishermen discovered Meyer Muscatel's body near the Parrots Ferry Bridge. Sensing that the FBI was closing in, an accomplice of Kadamovas and Mikhel chose to confess and assist the authorities. With his help, the FBI successfully located the remains of the other victims. To strengthen their case, the FBI obtained wiretaps on the phones of Kadamovas and Mikhel, capturing incriminating conversations about ransom money. Additionally, data extracted from their cell phones revealed their presence near the New Malones Lake on the days each victim was murdered. Further evidence firmly linked the perpetrators to the heinous acts. Bloodstains left at the bridge revealed the inadvertent drop of Muscatel's body, corroborating Kadamovas' previous admission. Surveillance cameras captured Mikhel and an accomplice using Alexander Umansky's debit card to withdraw funds, as well as Mikhel himself utilizing Nick Karabadze's and George Safiev's ATM cards. Searches of the defendants' residences unearthed physical evidence, including ransom notes and weapons. An IRS investigator delved into the laundering of the ransom payments, uncovering a complex trail leading to foreign accounts held by Kadamovas and Mikhel. Shockingly, the total amount of ransom money received by the duo exceeded $1 million. Through meticulous gathering of evidence, collaboration between agencies, and the assistance of a confession, law enforcement gradually pieced together the puzzle, building a strong case against Kadamovas and Mikhel. At their trial, Jurijus Kadamovas and Iouri Gherman Mikhel faced the consequences of their heinous crimes. Both men were found guilty on all counts by a jury after a 5-month-long trial that concluded in January 2007. The severity of their actions led to the government seeking the death penalty, which was ultimately imposed on March 12, 2007, by U.S. District Judge Dikran Tevrizian. During the sentencing, Judge Tevrizian condemned the brutal nature of the murders and emphasized the lack of mercy shown by the perpetrators. In addition to their death sentences, Kadamovas and Mikhel were ordered to forfeit the sum of over $1 million. The trial also involved the prosecution and sentencing of 4 accomplices. Einar Altmanis, who admitted to participating in the kidnappings and murders, cooperated with authorities, and led them to the victims' bodies. In exchange for his assistance, he received a reduced sentence of 23 years and 4 months. Natalia Solovyeva, Kadamovas' girlfriend, pleaded guilty to her involvement in the crimes and was sentenced to 15 years in prison. Alexeyus Markovskis, another accomplice, received a 15-year sentence, but had it reduced to 12.5 years due to his lesser degree of culpability. Petro Krylov, the only defendant to go to trial, received a life sentence without parole after his attorneys successfully argued that he had been coerced into participating. The guilty verdicts and subsequent sentencing ensured that justice was served for the victims and their families. Kadamovas and Mikhel are currently on federal death row at USP Terre Haute, awaiting execution. Their death sentences were upheld by the Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals in 2018, solidifying the consequences of their crimes. The case of Jurijus Kadamovas and Iouri Gherman Mikhel is a tragic and deeply disturbing one. Their brutal crimes and the suffering inflicted upon their victims are a stark reminder of the darkness that can exist in human nature. The fact that lives were lost and families were shattered is a heartbreaking reality. Thank you to all who have stuck with me until the end of the video. All small creators like me have certain goals in mind when we embark on this journey, and reaching 1/4 of that goal is my first significant milestone. Since we all share a common interest in similar topics, my idea is to organize a giveaway for a 1-year Curiosity Stream subscription plan once we reach 250 subscribers. This giveaway will serve as a token of appreciation for your support thus far. I'm genuinely grateful to have you all here with me. Comment down below if you have any recommendations for my future uploads. I am Alex, and this was Conundrum. Stay curious and stay safe.